Good afternoon. I have 2 zucchini left that my dad gave me, and I am going to shred both zucchini to see how many cups it will make. I have 2 recipes I want to make. I want to make zucchini cakes for dinner tonight, like a zucchini fritter, and then the rest that's left over, I want to make a zucchini relish, like a type of relish for like hot dogs. So let me get shredding and see how many cups. I think I'm gonna estimate 6 cups. Let's see if I'm right. I just grated 11 cups of zucchini. I was totally wrong. So I'm gonna pull 2 cups out and then have 9 cups left. So I'm gonna have to do some math to figure out, I'm gonna make a relish out of that 9 cups. So I gotta do a little math and figure out the other ingredients to go with it. So first I'm gonna pull 2 cups out and stick that in the fridge for dinner tonight. And then I am going to do some quick math and come right back. So for this zucchini relish, I am doing a combination of recipes. I watched a video by Linda's Pantry. She's on YouTube. She has some great canning videos, and I'm using a combination of her recipe, and then the Ball book has a classic zucchini relish too. So I'm actually just intermingling these two. So yeah, this is not an exact recipe. This is me just experimenting and using up what I got. So what I got is 1 green pepper, 1 red pepper, and 2 onions. So what I am gonna do is I am going to dice these up in my food processor and then add this to the 9 cups of zucchini. And then we're gonna salt the mixture and refrigerate it for a couple hours. Ball says to refrigerate it for 2 hours. Linda's Pantry left it overnight. So what happens is the salt is drawing out the moisture. Zucchini has tons of moisture in it, and then also salting it helps, and letting it sit for 2 hours helps keep the crispness of the zucchini and the other vegetables. So that's the first step. We're gonna clean these and dice these up and then add them to this zucchini. The onion, red pepper, and green pepper is diced up and added. And now I'm gonna take pickling salt, and I'm going to take 2/3 cup and sprinkle it over. And then stir it really, really good. This seems like a lot of salt. Maybe I won't use all that. Let me hold off. Let me mix it to see if it's touching enough. Mix that up, and we're gonna stick it in the fridge for 2 hours. So basically the salt, like I said, this isn't an exact recipe because Linda had 12 cups and I only have 9 cups, and she used 2/3, so definitely not as much salt. Basically, you just want the salt to draw out the moisture, and you don't want it too salty. So let me stir this up and see if I feel like it's enough salt. So I basically used a 1/3 cup of salt, not 2/3. And then the Ball recipe says to cover it with water when you stick it in the fridge. But I'm not doing that because you can look, there's already so much moisture in the zucchini. Even the onion and the pepper had moisture, so it's plenty wet enough. I'm not adding any water. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator. Like I said earlier, you could either do 2 hours or overnight. I'm just gonna, it's like, what time is it right now? It's like 4 o'clock. So I'm gonna do it tonight after dinner. So that'll be like 3 or 4 hours that it's been sitting in the fridge. Basically, you're just wanting it to draw out the moisture, and for whatever reason, cold and salt makes it crispy for when you pickle it. I've noticed in the Ball book, a lot of the pickling recipes want you to cover the vegetables in water and refrigerate for a couple hours before you actually can it. When I canned a bunch of stuff a couple years ago, I didn't know that, so my pickles weren't crispy. So it'll be interesting to see if this really does help make it crisp. I think it does because pretty much all the Ball recipes call for that. So I think that extra step is gonna help. And so hopefully I'll have crispy relish. And I did make some zucchini pickles the other day that I did the same thing. And so we will taste test those next month and see if they are crispy. But anyway, let me get this in the fridge, clean all my dishes, and then get ready for dinner. Time to get started on dinner. Tonight we are going to have bratwurst with a side of zucchini cakes. or you could also call them zucchini fritters. I'm making them a little thicker than a typical fritter, so that's why I'm calling them zucchini cakes. So it's 2 cups of shredded zucchini, 1 teaspoon of parsley flakes, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. This isn't Dijon, this is some kind of like spicy mustard. Whatever mustard you like the best, this is my favorite. 1 tablespoon of seasoning. I am going with this Cajun seasoning. It is really good. I like a little spice. 1 egg, 1 cup of plain breadcrumbs, and then 2 tablespoons of mayo, and 1 diced green onion. So we're gonna get all these ingredients blended together, these first, and then add the zucchini. Zucchini, excuse me, holds a lot of moisture, so make sure you squeeze out all of the moisture out of your zucchini, because otherwise it'll make your cakes kind of runny, and you don't want that. So let me start dicing this up and get everything mixed together. Here is all the ingredients mixed together. I'm going to now form them into smaller cakes. I'm going to heat up some oil and pan fry them on medium heat, 2 to 3 minutes on each side, and at the same time my husband's going to be cooking bratwurst, so not really going to video that because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on, but I will show you what they look like when they're done. So I was able to make 6. Robert says they're huge. I don't know. This is actually the first time making them. Definitely a test. He's watching the bratwurst. They're cheddar bratwurst, if you can't tell. And I'm watching the zucchini cakes. Getting ready to taste test the zucchini cakes, and my cat is meowing in the background. So Robert already tasted his and he said it's really good. It reminds him of potato pancakes. It was really good. It's got a little spice. It does remind me of potato pancakes. If you've ever had potato pancakes, Robert's grandma was Polish.
Yeah.
And she made potato pancakes a lot, so.
My mom made them.
His mom made them too, and that's what it reminds us of. The only thing I would change to that recipe is I would add another egg. They kept falling apart, and I think that it really needed 2 eggs instead of 1, but I would definitely make this again. I might try a different seasoning just to change it up a little, because this is the Cajun seasoning. It's really good, don't get me wrong. But if you don't want the same old, you could just do a different seasoning each time. And it could use a little sour cream. If you've ever had potato pancakes, people either put a little sour cream on it or applesauce. We prefer the sour cream. That would be a good addition to these, I'm gonna call them zucchini pancakes now. So, and you liked them?
I like them.
So we did pan fry them, so it does make them a little greasy. You just put them on a paper towel to soak up that grease. I actually like grape seed oil when I pan fry stuff. It's really, really good. So anyway, we're gonna finish dinner, and then later tonight I am going to make that zucchini relish. All right, it's 4 hours later, and this is the zucchini mixture that was in the fridge. So I am going to drain it out. And remember earlier I said it was like 9 cups, but those were like loosely packed. So just for safety's sake, for like my math, we're gonna say it was 8 cups of zucchini. So breaking down and doubling other people's recipes, with this 8 cups of zucchini, I'm gonna drain out the liquid, and I'm gonna add I am going to add 2 cups of vinegar, 1.5 cups of sugar, 3 tablespoons of horseradish, 1.5 teaspoon of turmeric, 1.5 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1.5 teaspoon of dill weed. These all ingredients are the one that Linda's pantry used. She mentioned that like some people might think nutmeg is kind of an odd choice, but she swears by it, and so I'm gonna go by her recipe. And she also added 2 jalapenos. She likes a little spice in her stuff. I love a little spice in my stuff. These are jalapenos I just picked off of my jalapeno plant in my garden. So I'm gonna finally dice these, and remember, anytime you hand dice jalapenos, wear gloves. I'm just gonna hand dice them because I don't want to get my food processor out just for these 2 little things. So let me get this drained, and then I will add all the ingredients, and we're gonna cook them on the we're gonna cook this on the stove, low simmer for 45 minutes before we water bath can. And I am going to use 1/2 pint jars. I think Linda used pint jars, but I like the little jelly size for my fridge. So I'm going to do jelly jar size, and I think this will make like 8 jars, maybe. We'll see. And then we're gonna water bath can them for 15 minutes. But let me get all the ingredients added, and I will show you as I simmer it on the stove. First, I'm just gonna show you, I'm gonna strain out these. These are Pampered Chef, not sponsored, it just happens to be the brand. I got these as a wedding present, and these are like my most favorite wedding present ever. So they just like fit over pots really well. So like if I want to strain out the liquid, it just sits on top of the pot. But what I'm going to do is strain out the liquid and then put this in this simmer pot, or my stock pot, because I think it's just too much stuff for my normal pot that I usually use when I can stuff. Here's everything mixed together. So now I'm going to bring it to a gentle boil and then turn it down to simmer for 45 minutes. And while that is simmering, I will get my water bath canner ready. It's been 45 minutes. This has been simmering. I did a taste test. My husband did a taste test. This tastes amazing. I mean, honestly, if you didn't know any better, you would have no idea that it was zucchini. It tastes excellent. It's a little bit of kick because of that horseradish and that jalapeno, but I love it. It's gonna be perfect for hot dogs. And this is, and again with pickling, it gets better over time. So I love it now. I'm sure a month from now, once it's been sitting on the shelf for a month, it's gonna be so much better. So this was 8 cups of zucchini. So I'm thinking it's gonna be like 8 jars, but we'll see. So I just took my jars out of the water bath canner, so they're nice, hot, sterilized, and we need 1/2 inch headspace. And then once I, wipe the rims, put the lids on, and then I'm gonna water bath can them for 15 minutes. Okay, I set it around again. I'm gonna water bath can it 10 minutes. So usually whenever you're water bath canning something, half pint is 10 minutes, pints are 15 minutes. So I always get those two confused, but I just double checked my recipe and it did say 1/2 pints, 10 minutes. The mixture actually was enough to make 10 1/2 pint jars. My water bath canner can hold 10. It's kind of a tight fit. You don't really want the jars to touch at all because you want the water to be able to get on all sides. These are barely touching. I'm going to move this one over and then put the lid on and water bath can it for 10 minutes once it reaches boiling, which is only going to take a minute because it's already bubbling. But it's a tight fit. I usually only do 8 jars at a time, but this relish made 10 and I don't want to do a second batch. It does fit. It's just a little tight. Good afternoon. It is the next day and here are my 10 jars of hot zucchini relish. They look great. They all sealed. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I think they look really good. So definitely something I think I would make again if I had more zucchini. I am now out of zucchini, and last time I talked to my dad, I think he's pretty much out too. So this might be my last zucchini recipe. We'll see. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and I will see you later.